Sri Lanka is dealing with an invisible enemy, their economy. But that's not the case with Taiwan. Taiwan's enemy is very much visible. It is located just 100 miles off their coast. It is communist China. For them, Taiwan is unfinished business, a piece of land that is rightfully theirs, but the people of Taiwan have different ideas. They value their democracy, their freedoms, things that make Taiwan a distinct society. They have their own army, their own parliament, their own president. Yet one key ingredient is missing, a formal declaration of independence. You see, Taiwan developed organically. They never declared official independence from China. Why not? Because it's a sensitive issue. Leaders in Taiwan had two options. They could preserve the status quo, or they could declare independence and risk a war with China. So every leader stuck with the status quo. And on Sunday, China's defense minister showed us why.
If anyone dares to secede Taiwan from China, we will not hesitate to fight. We will fight at all costs, and we definitely will fight to the very end. This is the only choice for China.
That is why Taiwan never declared independence. Because if they do, China could attack them. And let's face it, Taiwan's military is no match for China. If Beijing attacks, they will need America's help. But will Joe Biden step up? His Taiwan policy is all over the place. Sometimes he promises to defend Taiwan. Sometimes he switches to strategic ambiguity. On Sunday, Biden's Pentagon chief had the chance to set the record straight. He was speaking at the Shangri-La dialogue, and this is what he said.
And we stand firmly behind the principle that cross-strait differences must be resolved by peaceful means. Now, as a part of our One China policy, we will continue to fulfill our commitments under the Taiwan Relations Act. And that includes assisting Taiwan in maintaining a sufficient self-defense capability.
That is strategic ambiguity. It basically keeps China guessing. Will America come to Taiwan's defense or will they not? And there's only one way to find out, and that's by actually invading Taiwan. No doubt Xi Jinping would certainly like that. But the risk is too high. Just look at what's happening in Russia. Dozens of sanctions, companies winding up operations. It's basically a stranglehold. The question is, does Xi Jinping want to risk that? Or does he want to keep postponing the invasion? Logic says postpone it. But for how much longer? What if Taiwan declares independence in the meantime? Beijing does in fact seem to have a strategy against that. Number one, the scare tactics. All the incursions into Taiwan's air defense zone, all these warnings of war, they're all meant to keep Taiwan under check. Sort of like a message to pro-independence parties. Number two, the diplomatic offensive. And this explains why China is obsessed with the One China policy. They want to keep Taiwan isolated, basically cut off any direct assistance. Just think about it. Who is Taiwan's biggest ally against China? It is the United States. And yet the same United States does not recognize Taiwan as a country. Strategy number three, the economic offensive. The latest example is this one. China has banned the import of grouper fish from Taiwan. What's their excuse? Apparently, the chemical content in the fish is too high. It's an old Chinese excuse. Last year, remember, they banned the export of fruits from Taiwan. Same reason, higher chemical content, they said. But this time, Taiwan is threatening action. They're planning to take China to the World Trade Organization, the WTO, and frankly, they have no choice. China makes up 91% of Taiwan's grouper fish exports. That's worth more than $50 million. Overall, trade between China and Taiwan is $166 billion. Now, do you see the problem here? Taiwan faces an existential threat from China, but that same China is their biggest trading partner. And why just Taiwan? Most countries in the Indo-Pacific face the same dilemma. I'll give you two examples from the Shangri-La talks. Japan and Australia. Both countries held talks with China. Japan agreed to boost defense dialogue with China, while Australia said it was seeking productive relations. Listen to this.
So our focus is going to be on taking Australia forward and our place in the world in that way. And we do, consistent with that, want to have a productive relationship with China. So we will keep working as we can to try and have that evolve in the context of making it very clear that there is no, that this happens without any conditions at all.
So trade is China's most potent weapon against Taiwan, against Australia, even against Japan and India, which is why economic partnership in the Indo-Pacific will be key. I'm talking about new supply chains, new investment projects, new trade deals. As long as you buy from China, you cannot battle China. That was a big takeaway from the Shangri-La dialogue. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.